your lunch and come on in and have a seat because we are about to start shortly. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. If you could please grab your lunch and come on in and have a seat. Hello, everyone. The Center for Native American Youth and the Aspen Institute would like to welcome you to our 2020 Champions for Change public event. So today we are here standing on the land of the Anacostans, the Piscataway, and the Pamunkey people to recognize 5 remarkable Native youth. 5 youth who are laying the bricks that the foundation that our ancestors have set for us. And so with these 5 leaders, they make up 40 Champions for Change for the Center for Native American Youth. And it is an honor to have them join the Champions for Change family. But before we get started, I'd like to introduce and bring up the Kiowa Singers for our invocation and to get us started in that good way.
Good afternoon. Can you please stand with me? We put our feet on Mother Earth, although we're not on Mother Earth, but we stand to recognize that we all come from this motherland, this Mother Earth, and we all go back to Mother Earth. We stand together in unity, in harmony, in balance, and spirit. For all the young ones coming behind us, it's going to be your place. It's going to be your world. You're going to have to take care of it for us. We're getting of age. We're going to turn it over to you. Do a good job in all that you do. Be true to yourself. Be true to your tribe. Be true to your families. Learn as much as you can. I retired as a teacher, graduate studies, a social work for the University of California, Stanislaus. It was the greatest opportunity I had was working with families, children. And so I'm going to give my prayer for all of you that your life and journey would greatly benefit all of our nations, all of our people. We're suffering. We're having a difficult time. We need you to step up and take care of this world, this land. We haven't done a good job. We pray that you'll do better. As I go to Creator, I'll be keeping you in my prayer. Uncle Pegado, Kigado, Psychoma. And it kekom de about all about dog Psychom Peter, but high gado doggy. Keyboard ding about dog Psychom Peter, solo about high gado. Creator, call upon you at this time as we gather in this place to bring our minds together to make this a better world for our children coming behind us. Put our minds together to help one another and not judge one another and not criticize and not bring down anyone, Creator. We're all human beings with the same feelings. Creator, we ask you to bless and keep in your care our legislatures. One standing before us, Creator, I will speak soon. May our people come together to give support to our native legislators. And Creator, for our children stepping up in the digital world, learning the science of environment, learning the science of electronics, learning the science of humanness and social healing. Creator, we're going to ask you to take care of all this from the youngest to the oldest. Their minds are getting prepared to move on. We're going to ask you to take care of them. Bless them with pure thoughts, good thoughts, helping thoughts, healing thoughts for us all. We ask you, Creator, to bless this gathering. May they accomplish and achieve what they have set out to do and even more. Creator, we're going to ask you, blessing this conference, this meeting, and each one that is here, whoever they represent, bless their families, bless their loved ones. Creator, and last, we're going to ask you to provide a way for us to heal our world, to bring the forces of energy and knowledge and understanding and acceptance to go on into a good journey, to complete a good journey. We thank you for the host committee brings us together as they work hard diligently each year. May their efforts grow and prosper in a good way. We thank you for this day, beautiful day that we're together here. Go with us in this day and all that we do. We ask all these things. We left anything out. Pray that you take care of it in our thoughts, thoughtful prayers. Det är den kompet idag I dagen vad dag säger om. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you for standing with me. Thank you. Thank you. Let's give our singer a nice round of applause and a thank you. And I forgot to thank you for the blessing of food. Oh my goodness, it's good. We haven't eaten since yesterday. Thank you. I'll turn back over to our MC to continue on.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Anthony Temez Pochel. I'm West Pacific First Nations, Cree, and Chichango Lakota, as well as Black. I'm a 2018 Champion for Change. I sit on Unity's executive committee as their Midwest representative. I'm also a member of the Youth Advisory Board for the Center for Native American Youth. But before we started, I wanted to acknowledge some other members that sit on our youth board. So we have Micah Carlos, we have Rory Wheeler, and then we have Christy and Sam who are in the back with our new champs class. And so forgive me as I look down at my cheat cards. This is my first time emceeing, so thank you for bearing with me. So CNAY was founded in February of 2011 with $1 million of leftover campaign funds from former Senator Byron Dorgan to raise awareness and uplift stories of hope and inspiration across Indian country. 8 years of working with youth and tribal leaders, congressional members, national Indian organizations, and federal agencies to address things like education, child welfare, and suicide prevention, to promote a positive discourse of American Indian youth across the country. And some of the most important work is on the ground work, so not here in DC, but in those tribal communities and in those urban communities, right? And so developing meaningful, sustainable relationships with tribal leaders, parents, and youth. And so we would like to thank you for those partnerships and thank you for allowing CNAY to come into your communities to uplift those youth's voices. So this, throughout our 8 years, we've been able to connect with over 6,000 Native youth, and we're looking forward to engaging with even more youth and tribal leaders and sharing even more opportunities in our 8th year here at CNAY. And as many of you know, the Center for Native American Youth has been a lead partner on President Obama's Generation Indigenous Initiative. While we have a new administration, CNAY will continue to grow the Generation Indigenous movement with Native Youth Network to highlight other youth, identify impactful programs, and share important resources for opportunities for Native youth. And so a little bit about our Champions for Change program. It is a phenomenal program. As I said, I was a Champion for Change in 2018. Life-changing experience for me personally, and so I hope that's the same for this 2020 class. But it was inspired by a White House initiative created to recognize and enforce inspirational Native American youth from 12 to 24 working in tribal and urban Indian communities to promote hope and make a positive impact. And today, we have the privilege of welcoming 5 new members into the Champions for Change family. And so these 5 individuals are committed to improving the lives of not only their communities, but Indian countries as a whole. But before we get started, I would like to bring up Paulette Jordan to give our keynote address. A proud member of the Coeur d'Alene tribe, Paulette was the 2018 Democratic gubernatorial nominee in Idaho, becoming the first woman nominated to the position by a major party in the state, and the first Native American woman nominated for governor in U.S. history. More Idahoans cast their votes for Paulette Jordan in 2018 than they had for any Democratic gubernatorial or congressional candidate in Idaho history. She is recognized in Idaho and across the nation as an inspirational and audacious leader. Ms. Jordan is the Secretary for the National Indian Gaming Association, Chair and Founder of Save the American Salmon Incorporation, Director of Native American Engagement for the Democratic National Committee Council on Environment and Climate Crisis, and Chair and Founder of Idaho Voice. Paulette fiercely served District 5 in the Idaho House of Representatives from December 1st, 2014 until February 14th, 2018. Ms. Jordan previously served on the Coeur d'Alene Tribal Council and remains engaged with tribal communities throughout Idaho and across the U.S. Ms. Jordan is a mother of 2 young boys and resides in Plummer, Idaho. Just last week, Paulette has answered the call to lead and announced her intent to run for United States Senate. Please help me welcome Paulette Jordan.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony, and all of our tribal youth that are here. We're so proud of you. You're the reason I'm standing here today. And before I begin, I want to honor our elders. Thank you, our Kiowa relatives, for that good prayer and song to start our day off right and carry us through, hopefully, the rest of this year, because we need a lot of good prayers. It's that harmonic resonance that keeps us all connected. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about our people, Indigenous peoples, our ways. So one of the things I talk about when I'm speaking to my own ancestors, my own elders, when it comes to my own path along, this journey in my lifetime has been to really stay close to our sky people. And oftentimes it's told back to me that you have to stay connected through the energy, and that's through song and prayer. So I hope a lot of our young people, they can take that time to really connect with your fellow man and connect with nature at every opportunity that you get. Because when people ask me on a daily basis, why am I here or how did I get here, I often say it's through that connectivity that gets me going every day. So sometimes it's those humble means, and as I took on this new role running for the U.S. Senate, a lot of folks had seen who I'm up against. And I thought, well, honestly, it doesn't matter how much money one has. It doesn't matter how much political clout one has or the corporations behind them. All that really matters is we as a people connecting and ensuring that we have that truth always to our core. And as I'm speaking to my elders in this process moving forward, because it is a big battle for us as a people, we have never had a voice in the national scene. We've never had a voice when it comes to being in the US Senate or in the White House. And yet our peoples have been here for thousands of years, and we see the planet being destroyed on a daily basis. Thousands of species are at stake. Even humanity itself is in crisis. So as we're looking at one of the greatest crossroads in our history, we all of ourselves here, especially our young people who are the next generation's leaders to take this planet into the next direction, in the best direction possible, it truly is up to you, because everything is on the table right now. Everything is at stake. That is how serious this is. So I'm so thankful that we have our 5 youth that we're honoring here today, who are going to be champions, not of just change of here and today, but of tomorrow, and ensuring that nature has its place back within the circle of humanity, that truth will be brought to justice in the best way possible, and that we're always acting in this positive way. And thank God we have so many of our elders that are here too to support you, like our elders here, me. We're all ensuring that each and every generation to follow is successful. Because one of the greatest reminders that I always had from our Sky Council that brought me here today has said is that it's up to us as Indigenous peoples all across the world to uphold that contract that we came here for. And that contract, if we can all remember and reach into our own spirit, it reminds us that we are here to bring peace. If you look at every single Indigenous culture or population on every continent in this planet, all of those cultures, they're here to enable and to bring forward peace. When people think I'm taking on this huge battle, I say, no, this is our opportunity to show the people the way forward. And that way forward meaning being a voice for the voiceless. And the voiceless even encourages us to mean nature, the environment. Everything should have a right. Water should have rights. Our air, everything has a place within our society, and yet we are allowing those who are at the top to destroy it all. So here we're taking action. I cannot tell you how proud I am of my sister Nikki for bringing me here as well and inviting me, and of course all of those who are part of this development with the Aspen Institute. Thank you. And of course thanks to our Senator Byron Dorgan, who has developed this initiative to ensure that our youth would always have a voice. And of course, those 5 who are being honored today, I just want to personally thank you for taking that opportunity and encouraging yourself and working with your families and your elders. I saw you this morning and was able to have some time with you. And in that process, I could see our ancestors through you. I love that you come here with your traditional regalia and showing that your pride in your culture and your language and your peoples is still very strong. That resonates with me, and I have to thank you very much, and I hope that you will be continually successful on your path, and I hope that I can be here as a guide or a support in any which way possible. But my love extends to everyone here. I just have to tell you that there's so much happening in the world right now, and a lot of our elders tend to speak on this on a daily basis that it just becomes us. And oftentimes people will say, it's so political that I'm just going to turn out. I'm just not even going to show up anymore because I'm so disgusted by what's happening. There's so much destruction and there's so much corruption on every single level that they're looking. But I'm here to tell you that there's a lot to look forward to. And that if it's not up to our youth that are in this room to make this change happen, then we're all doomed. It really comes down to all of our young people here. Because while everything's at stake, we still have a lot of good hope. But it's your courageous action that will change everything. It is that courage of my little sister here to continue pushing everybody forward. All of our ambassadors in this room, it is their courage that inspires all of us to continue moving forward. So I thank you from all of our elders' hearts, because I hear this in every room that I go to, and I will tell you, the elders, they sacrificed and they suffered, but they did that for us. And so I'm just a vessel of them, their hopes and prayers, and I'm passing that along because it's so hard. And I tell you, as a people, it's hard for us to continue going sometimes. And I hear so many stories about people struggling on a daily basis. But we're here, we hear them. We hear all of your prayers. We hear you calling out, and we're here to take action. So I'm just extremely thankful, very grateful for each and every one of you, because as we're moving forward, that is one of the greatest positions that we have as Indigenous peoples, is to ensure that we have that connectivity with all of us, connectivity to nature, and making sure that we uphold that contract of peace, because that is very rare, and that is what this country needs. We need activators of peace. We need diplomacy, and that diplomacy will be carried through you. So thank you, my relatives, because our country needs you. We need your voice. It's why I'm running. But I tell people, I said, when we ran for governor, what we did, sharing our message across the world, was we kicked the door down to tell people that we as Indigenous peoples are still here. And not only that, but we're strong and we're proud. We've risen up out of all the genocide and all that depression, that way we've been suppressed for many generations. We've risen up and we're ready to take our rightful place as leaders to ensure that nature, humanity, everything, all elements are brought together in this greater circle of life. And that is my purpose here, is to serve all life. And I know many of you share that same purpose. So I can't wait. I can't wait for many of you to step up and run for larger positions of leadership. But always remember that even if you're not interested in one area or the other, you are a leader regardless of your title. Right now, here and today, you can take action, and you're already doing it, which is why we're honoring you, but I want you to continue going and really go far and wide. So thank you, my sister, my brother, Anthony, for allowing me to be here and carry on this message. And I just am I'm very pleased to see everyone doing all the good work that you're doing, because our brothers and our sisters, especially those who are plagued by the tragedies such as our murdered and missing Indigenous men and women, all of our children who fall to, injustices that are spread throughout this country, whether it be through ICWA or the mismanagement of our social functions. It's unfortunate that we have to deal with these issues, but we need agents like yourself to stand up for our people. So thank you again, my brothers and sisters. Lim Lemsh.
Thank you, Paula Jordan, for those kind words and for that good medicine. Right now, we have some video, a video from former Senator Byron Dorgan as remarks.
Former Senator Byron Dorgan, founder of the Center for Native American Youth. And I would normally be with you in person this evening. I've never missed one of these, but this is one of those times when there is a conflict, and I've had to be in San Francisco at a corporate board meeting, a public company, and I couldn't miss that. So at any rate, this is the first in many, many years that I have missed this annual gathering to celebrate the Champions for Change. At the Center for Native American Youth, we have nominated and then selected Champions for Change, attempting to put all the spotlights on the same spot, and that is celebrating young people across this country, Native American young people who are doing extraordinary things. So let me congratulate each and every one of you. I'm really pleased to see this year's group of champions, just like the champion groups before, extraordinary young men and women. And let me describe a proverb, an old Native American proverb. The proverb goes, "If you tell me a fact, I'll learn it. If you tell me a truth, I'll believe it. If you tell me a story, I'll hold it in my heart forever." So let me tell you a story about these 5 young Native Americans. First, let me tell you, Isabella Madrigal is 17 years old, and she is about storytelling, interestingly enough, storytelling and about missing women and children and using the stories to describe what is happening, the tragedy of what is happening. Isabella, good for you. Congratulations on your work. Next is Owen Oliver. Owen is 21 years old, and Owen is someone who believes very much in traditional values. and culture, and has worked on those areas for some long while, beginning even when he was a very young teenager. And then Jasmine Wildcat is with us, and Jasmine is 16 years old. And Jasmine works on a range of issues, including and especially teen suicide. And I must say, Jasmine, teen suicide prevention is one of the very reasons that we founded the Center for Native American Youth. That and education opportunity and other issues as well. So thanks for your work. And finally, Shavana Underwood. Shavana Underwood is 24 years old, and she is working on mental health issues and cultural issues as well. And Shavana, congratulations on your work. It's inspiring. And then finally, Warren Davis, 22 years old. Warren is working on language history for Native Americans. Such important work by these 5 champions for change. You know, the Center for Native American Youth is an organization that's dedicated solely and exclusively to trying to understand how we can improve and better the lives of young Native Americans. It is a fact there are a lot of challenges and many difficulties. It is a fact that teen suicide rates are too high, that we are represented in education opportunities at many of our great universities coming from Native American lands, that shelter and health care and other issues are wanting on many reservations. That's the case. But it's also the case that I believe that we can fix these issues. If we put all the spotlights on the same spot, as I've said, and begin to decide the first Americans shouldn't be in second place on anything. The first Americans were here, greeted the immigrants, and now for centuries have had very substantial difficulties in making sure that they are able to experience the same bounties that other Americans experience. We can fix all of these issues. And it seems to me we start with Champions for Change, celebrating those who are out there already on Indian lands doing extraordinary things. So tonight, let me say, I'll see all of you tomorrow when I land at the airport much later tonight. But let me say to you, congratulations. My heart is warm, and I just feel so good about being able to say to the 5 of you, you truly are champions of change.
Thank you, Senator Dorgan, for those kind words. And so before I bring up our 2020 champions for change and our moderators, I would just like to note we understand that there might be a lot of questions after the panel, and so there are little cards that have the Aspen Institute logo. So if you have a question, make sure you write it down there, and then one of the CNAY staff members will come around and collect it to be read for them. And with that, I'd like to bring up Christy and Sam Schimmel, 2 of our Youth Advisory Board members and our 2018 Champions for Change class, or 2020 Champions for Change class. Please sit down.
Alrighty, hello everybody. Wangaho Uyavok. My name is Sam Schimmel. I'm Knights Indian in St. Lawrence Island, Siberian Yupik. I was a 2017 Champion for Change, and I'm continuing that work as an Arctic Youth Ambassador and as a member of the Climate Action Committee for NCAI. And Christy and I are going to be your moderators today. So I'll let Christy introduce you.
Dos Nitaina Nanana Te A Hat Hase. Na Christy Wildcat Hinana Inana. Hello everyone, my name is Strongheart Woman and my government name is Christy Wildcat. I am a 2016 Champion for Change, so it's been a while. But I was a Champion for Change for my platform, which was the Warren River All Action Crew, which is a community service-based group where I took Native youth and non-Native. We worked together to do community service projects that broke down the racial tensions that lie within my home community. But I'm also working as the first and current secretary for the Youth Advisory Board for Center for Native American Youth. I'm also a triple major at the University of Wyoming. And so, with that, I'd like to invite the champions to go down the line, starting with Jasmine, and introduce yourselves.
Okay, so dos nate ana nanana Jasmine Wildcat nanana. Hello everyone. My name is Jasmine Wildcat. As you heard in the introduction, I'm 16 years old. I'm a current, high school junior. I'm an enrolled member of the Northern Arapaho tribe. I'm her little sister, so that's pretty exciting. The main platform though that I'm currently working on, the one that I'm really focused on, is destigmatizing, mental illness. This is an issue that is like really close to my heart because, I myself am diagnosed with anxiety and depression. So that's something that I have to live with every day, and it's just something that's really important and nothing to, be ashamed of. And one way that I'm combating that is through the use of activism, because there's statistics to show that that is one like coping mechanism that you can use as opposed to, like all these like medications and everything. So yeah.
Klosh Kanawe, Owen Nakanim. Hello everyone. It's wonderful to see all these faces, and thank you all for being here. I'm a junior at the University of Washington. I'm a Quinault Indian tribal member and have heritage to the Asledas of Pueblos of Asleda. And I currently study American Indian Studies. And I've kind of learned through my studies and community engagement of how bringing Indigenous knowledge into classrooms and institutions can bring empowerment and accessibility to our students. These students have so much knowledge to share, but they're so afraid to share it. They feel they want to hide, they want to turn around and just not want to share it. And it's hard. It's hard to get that out of them, and it's hard to talk about it appropriately. But when we have it in our classrooms, and we have the art all around these walls, they feel opened up. And they feel like they really want to do it, because they are proud of the knowledge that they hold. So it's working in these institutions and almost justifying Indigenous knowledge. And I hate to say that. I hate to say justify. But we really do. And we have to legitimatize it and just make sure that cultural values are appreciated and privileged. And I'm so excited to be here, Masi.
Mioe. My name is Isabella. I'm a high school senior, and I'm so honored to be here with all of you today. For the last year and a half, I've been involved in this Native storytelling project, which is all about, how do we share culture and cultural revitalization alongside arts and theater in particular and storytelling, to share the stories that need to be told now, to be able to, carry what we know forward, but also how that is going to shape our future. So what I've been doing is I wrote this play, and it was inspired by these 3 traditional Kuya stories. I'm an enrolled member of the Kuya tribe and then of Turtle Mountain Chippewa descent on my mother's side. And so this play, it deals with missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. So it is very much theater for social justice. And I see that art can be such an incredible vehicle for pushing for social change and for bringing our community together. And it is very much a ceremony and a healing experience. It's about Native voices telling Native stories and reshaping the national narrative. So yes, thank you all.
Yaat Shikado Shidane Shay Warren Davis Inishia, Twitter Eatney. So hello everybody, my name is Warren Davis. My maternal clan that I inherited from my mother is Bitterwater Twitter Eatney. I am a Navajo tribal member. I'm from northern Utah, a place called Cache Valley. It's about an hour and a half north of Salt Lake City. And what I do is I work hands-on daily with the youth in my community, promoting healthy living, mental wellness, and cultural revitalization. And I do that through developing kind of a language curriculum that I'm working on, and I'm also developing different leadership roles for the youth in my community. And these are kids that I work with on a daily basis. So it's a really close relationship. I currently do that through the school districts in my area, and I'm trying to create a separate entity that's totally Indigenous run for Native youth, by Native youth, and that's why I'm here today.
Known Footsquad, Anshak Shavana Underwood, Hinge Quinels, Chikoolo Hinisha, Chikoolo Ashnisi Hinisha. Good afternoon, my name is Shavana Underwood. I'm from Quinault, and I'm so happy to be here today. I am the secretary of our Quinault Canoe Society. I am the vice president of our Quinault Culture Committee. I am a student at Evergreen State College in our Native Pathways program, and I am also the admin assistant to our behavioral health team. So I get to work closely with cultural revitalization and developing healthy coping mechanisms from trauma. That is some of the work that I'm doing right now and why I'm here today.
Thank you all for introducing yourselves. And so from there, let's jump into the panel. We'll start with Warren. You've been working in cultural education space for several years. Can you share the work of the curriculum you've developed and the importance of visibility for Indigenous history in our classrooms?
Yeah, so the curriculum I'm developing is in its baby steps right now. It's primarily Navajo language and culture that is put into a format that's really easy for young kids to learn. That's like flashcards, worksheets, with audio files as well. And so I'm making it into a format that is easily dispersed. It will be free to every Indigenous community. And it'll also be able to be used by non-Indigenous educators, so we can get it spread farther that way. A huge part of that, though, that doesn't go along with the curriculum is working with our students and tribal communities daily to establish those relationships of trust, because trying to get your Indigenous students to use their languages, use their culture, and not be scared to use it in colonized spaces is a task on its own. So that's a huge part of the work I do, is being involved in their lives as a mentor and encouraging them to utilize their traditions, utilize their language, and not be scared to do it. As for history taught in classrooms, so for that, I think the most important aspect, and it's kind of on the other end of the spectrum, it is so important to be taught the history of all of our tribal nations and the atrocities that happened to us. Because it shouldn't be covered up. That should be out for everybody. But the most important thing is to teach that we are not only a part of history. We are all here today. We are not historical figures, and I think bringing that into common knowledge into the mainstream media, because in a lot of communities they don't understand that Natives are thriving here today. We are fighting daily for our communities, and I think that's the most important part, is not teaching us only as history, but as part of today.
Well, Warren, thank you so much. That's incredible. Isabella, as an actress, you recognize the importance and visibility in the media. Would you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write and produce your play, Menno and Her Heart, and kind of how that will support a narrative change in Indian country?
Yeah, so I think this kind of native storytelling project, which encompasses Menno and Her Heart, it was born out of the lack of native representation in the arts. But I think that this lack of representation, it goes beyond not just seeing native faces in the media, because our defining stories are also missing from the national narrative. The Indigenous perspective is something that is lacking, and I think that when we look at the media, I for one, I don't see myself reflected, and so that was a huge reason that I thought that it was important that this story be authentically Indigenous. And so in order to do that, I went back to the traditional stories. They're Cahuilla stories, about 4 of them that really influenced the play, and I think that is about the worldview that it's trying to push forward and to reflect as well. So yeah, once I had that written, it was about bringing the community together, and that was the second part of it, because it was Native voices sharing Native stories, and so we ended up getting about 20 community participants, and all non-actors, but that was part of the beauty of it, right? Because it was these people who live this narrative who are sharing it, and I think that is what storytelling is at its heart. Storytelling and storytellers have a huge amount of power. You know, stories, they shape identity. They can call up a great strength in a people, but they can also be the unwitting tools of oppression. And so it's really important to reclaim that story and be the ones that are telling it. And I think that is, you know, all about the work that I do and the work that I'm really passionate about. And like I said, it deals with this idea of MMIW, missing and murdered Indigenous women, and social justice. And you know, I wrote the play for Jessica May Orozco, Jojo Boswell, Aisha Nightpipe, Savannah LaFontaine Graywin, you know, these faceless names of the missing and murdered. But it was also for, you know, my little cousin Maya and my sister Sophia and my mother Renda and all the women who stand and fight beside me every time we do this, but all the men who support us as well, to share this forgotten story of their stolen sisters and to end the silence. And so it's you know, my play, Minyul in Her Heart, it tells the story of a young Indigenous girl who was not taken, but instead must make the choice of whether or not to stay. And I think that's a choice that a lot of us have to make. And so yeah, it's all about, you know, sharing those stories and also making sure you're doing it in the right way. Thank you.
Sorry, apologize for that. Thank you, Isabella. So, Owen, can you share with us the work you're doing with the University First Nations group and how is it increasing visibility on campus and the greater Seattle region?
Yeah, for sure. So First Nations is the largest undergraduate Native organization at the University of Washington. Thank you. And I took the position of coastal chair for this organization. It was a position that had never been utilized to its potential. You know, we're on Coast Salish lands, and there was that disconnect of how do we fully engage in this community outside of just doing a powwow every single year, you know? And we started small. We did an event where we fed over 200 people with traditional foods and decolonized Thanksgiving. And we wanted to change that narrative. You know, we wanted to show this is what we got. You know, we'll bring dancers in. We'll bring them from Canada. You know, we don't believe in borders in First Nations, hence the name First Nations. And we brought all these dance groups in and Coastal Jam and had fry bread, elk stew. And something changed with our members. They were like, wow, I can put on an event. And I was like, yeah, you can. I've been telling you this the whole time. And they wanted to see how much further we could go with this. And they wanted to become their own leaders and their own teachers. In about a couple months, I had the request of, how do we get into the community, like directly into the community? And I was like, well, we have this program. It's called Pipeline. It's a great program, unfortunate name. And it's where we bring students onto the reservation. And normally non-Native students will go to these programs. And I was asked to go onto this program. And I was like, but why? There's no Natives on this program. You know, we're going to in these reservation compact schools, but there's no Natives. So I was like, why doesn't First Nations just do their own one? So in April, we brought about 8 First Nations students over to Quileute Tribal School, and we taught for 1 week, K through 12. And we talked about the importance of higher education in kindergarten. Thank you. Just think about talking about college in kindergarten. To these students that may had family members that went to UW, maybe had family members that went to community college, and had a lot of family members that didn't graduate high school. And how do we get them to start thinking, I want to go to college? Why do I want to go to college? And it boiled down, they wanted to go to college because they saw us coming back to their community. They saw us wanting to teach them and bring that Indigenous knowledge into their classroom. And we've now expanded to 3 schools. We're going to Yakima, Makah, and Quileute this next April. And First Nation students are teaching and making curriculum for themselves. And we've just became this organization on campus that you go to us about Native things. Start coming to the students. Don't go to the higher ups, because we don't have enough Native higher ups. But we got a lot of students, and we're thriving, and we're just trying to share our story. So that's how First Nations kind of has evolved UW campus. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Shavana, you talked a little bit earlier about some of the work that you're doing, and we were wondering if you could talk a little bit more about the power in bringing community together for the potlatch practice and what that means for you as a Quinault woman to work in that space of cultural revitalization.
Thank you for that question. So me and my chairwoman, Fawn Sharp, developed a contract to be in our community center on Sundays to do potlatch practice. And so it's open to everybody. And we come, we sing our songs, tell our stories, speak our language. And this is something that we battle with. We don't have a home. And so a lot of that, I think, has to do with colonization. But we don't have the funds for a longhouse, so we have to develop a contract and find a place to practice our culture. And it sucks, but it's what we have right now, and we're doing the best with what we have. And I really just wanted this to be something to show our people that this is your identity and no one can take it from you. It's your power. And so it provides a safe place for everyone to come and learn, no matter where you come from, how much you know, what family you come from, you're welcome. And that's what potlatch practice is. And so we practice for ceremonies, or we just come and have social songs. And it's a really good, we're very secluded, so it gives people something to do on the weekend. And there's probably more to it, but that's the overall meaning behind it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. So Jasmine, can you tell us about the Niini project and how did you create it and what do you hope to accomplish with it?
Okay, so the Niini project, so Niini, it stands for Things Are Good in the Northern Arapaho language. So I created this project to sort of become like the foundation and the sort of group that would sort of be like the face, It's not only going to be me, it's going to be, other people. We're going to get together and, take on this issue because, destigmatizing mental illness, that's just not, a community thing. That's a big thing to take on. So currently, right now, I have, done presentations. Currently, I have a presentation, as I've mentioned before, about activism. So I have a presentation called Slacktivism to Activism on how to get more involved. So I've currently given that presentation at a Unity mid-year conference. And for those of you who don't know, Unity stands for United National Indian Tribal Youth. So it's one of the larger Native youth gatherings. And right now I'm organizing, I'm working with my local library to give my presentation there, to open it up to my local community. What else I plan to accomplish? Oh, wait, hold on. Right now, we are working on more of the feel-good stuff because activism, it can just be, writing letters, which is where I started, to our main, to our senators and representative. It could be just speaking at events or just talking to people about, things that you stand up for. So right now, I held a free ice skating day at my local community for Native youth. Everyone in the school district, they could bring their families and friends and they can all skate for free. And then right now, which is coming up next week, which I'm pretty excited for, is what we're doing a teddy bear toss. I don't know if you've heard of that. They do it a lot in hockey, but we're doing it for basketball. And those teddy bears will be donated to our local police department, and half of the proceeds will also go to our local coalition for domestic and sexual abuse prevention. So that's pretty much what I'm getting out of our group so far, but I'm hoping to expand it and work on more issues and speak up more things. Yeah.
Warren, we all know the power in mentors. I mean, we look around and we think about our own pasts and everything like that. And we know that there's a few people in our lives that really make a huge difference. It set expectations higher for us. But I was wondering, who have been some of your greatest mentors, and what qualities did they share with you that you think made you a stronger leader?
Wow. So honestly, there's a handful of different ones. The first one I feel prompted to share is, I might get emotional, is grandparents, my grandparents. They're why I'm here today. My grandparents, my aunties, my uncles, my parents, those that prayed for me to get here. And with them, honestly, what they have shared with me that has helped me be who I am today is the power of our indigenous ways, the power of our prayers, the power of our ceremonies, and how that can save lives. It can save people. Yeah, so they also, these family members, they often have received no Western or formal education. They were raised solely in our ways and have continued to live happy, full lives and promote wellness in our families. So they're huge mentors to me, is grandparents' family. The second is every educator I've had in my life that has told me to go for it. That has told me to not be scared to be myself. That has prompted me to move forward, to have my voice heard, because I'm naturally a very shy person. So I needed those prompts. I needed those words of encouragement given to me by people that I look up to in my school systems. And then I'd say the last group of people who I look up to immensely, who have mentored me, is the youth that I serve. And these include my siblings and cousins in my community, as well as just various other students. They truly show me what it's like to be an Indigenous young person on a day-to-day basis, especially in our urban communities. They are truly the ones who show me the struggles and what it's like to be a young Indigenous person in today's world, whether you live on a tribal nation or an urban community. Yeah, they are inspirations to me on a daily basis, and yeah, that's about what I have to say on that. Those are my mentors, and I appreciate all of them. So.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for that. So we'd like to move over to Isabella. You would like to see policy change to address violence. How does your work support and raise awareness in missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and people epidemic?
Yeah. So that is the main issue that the play that we've been touring this past year deals with. And following every performance, we have this talk back, and that's something that's really, I think really important for what the type of theater that we're doing is, because it is ceremony and it is dialogue between audience and cast. And we have the opportunity for the people who see the show to kind of share what they take away from it and what they want to add. And so one thing I remember, this old woman, she came to see the show and she said something that has always really struck me, and it's something that our native writer Leslie Marmon Silko said first: we don't heal by forgetting, we heal by remembering. And so I think that is so important and is so much about the work that I do and the work that my community does to bring this issue forward. When our women are going missing at rates 10 times higher than the national average, we need to remember them, and so this play is for them at its core. It is all about that. The violence against women and violence against girls, I think, is used as a war strategy to weaken, demoralize, and eradicate Indigenous populations around the globe. It's a global issue. And the taking of our women and the taking of our girls, it's part of this larger taking. It's part of a taking of land and culture and language and identity. And so, it's really, it's really important that we begin to first shine light. We are only in the beginning stages of understanding the magnitude of this issue, but it's something that I know that we cannot do it alone, and that's why community is so important. And you know, it amazes me, you know, that people came together to support this play the way they did. I mean, these people have jobs and lives and families, but they came to give up their time to be a part of this performance. But you know, it makes sense because I think Menyul in her heart creates this opportunity for people to speak their truth. And I think that when people speak their truth, they become visible. And that is really what it's all about. And for me, you know, it gives me so much hope. And I think that's why we're here today. It's this idea that continuation it's not a question of if, because we will continue, but it's a question of how. And I think that, you know, healing, it can't come from a place of hatred, but it's about love and it's about resiliency. And I see that reflected in everyone up here and everyone I've had the privilege to meet this week. It's been so incredibly inspiring, and I'm so awed and so excited for the next step, because I do believe that there is so much that we can do, and there's so much that is already being done.
Isabella, thank you. I think that is so important. This is an epidemic that hurts and harms every one of our communities, and is something that we need to make sure the rest of the world knows about. If we can't get our story out, then it won't be told. And so thank you so much. But now to Owen. You've created one of the first all-Native American alternative spring break programs. Could you share a little bit about that work and how other communities can kind of benefit, gain, or work within those frameworks to better themselves?
Yeah, that was the pipeline project that I was just talking about. But one of the coolest things that came out of that project, and that I see today, is the use of language. Language is amazing. Native languages, indigenous languages. I just can't get enough, you know? It's learning that side. You know, first thing we learned, we went into this big auditorium. There's Native murals from, you know, kindergartners that did it and 12th graders. And they come in and they're like, "Haichke-e!" And I was like, oh, okay, let's get started. And I was like, I don't know what that means. In Quileute, it's good morning. Haichke-e! And we practiced it. Every morning, they'd all come in and they'd say it together. And moving around, you know, the United States and going up to Vancouver, you know, you hear language everywhere. But the special thing about DC is that you hear so many different languages. You hear everyone introduce themselves in their traditional language. And it's the most amazing and heartfelt thing that I think has happened already. You know, these other champs and everybody else we've been working with NCIA, it's hearing those languages, that they're alive and thriving, and they're educating each other, and they're teaching them little words. You know, Masi, thank you. That's Shinnequawa for thank you. It's those little things that make us be so proud of being Native. And we're so proud to share our language now after everything that's happened. And that's what Pipeline's about, is that we're so excited to educate again. And we're so excited to bring this curriculum on this cutting edge of Indigenous studies. So, Masi.
I totally agree with that language. So, ho-ho, in my language. So, Shavana, you have dreams for this generation and the following generations that we all share to grow in pride for being Native. Can you share more about your hopes for the next generation and the importance in being deeply rooted in culture for healing?
Yes, I feel like that's a really big question. I asked some of my mentors because I was nervous about it because I don't want to ramble. But I have a really good heart about this question. And I just want to say, I just want to say that I think our youth deserve the best things in this world. And it's our responsibility to provide that. And one of my mentors, though, told me that we watched our dads in the fish wars and we're watching us now with the land and water wars. So I don't know what battle the youth are going to have in the future, but I want them to be ready and to be ready to protect our rights. And so I wanted to get up here and say that although I have lots of hope and lots of love, I also want them to be prepared for what's to come. Because the quote that I heard from Cheyenne Brady is that although we're fighting a different battle than our ancestors, we're fighting for the same reasons still today. And so my hope is for them to be ready and to have the skills and to know that the fight is inside them, and it always will be.
Well, thank you. I think this is our last question. It's for you, Jasmine. In 2018, you were featured in Teen Vogue for your work on gun violence.
Thank you.
Would you tell us a little bit about what this issue means to you and what it was like to travel to New York for the Teen Vogue Summit and have an international platform for this issue?
I just think that, this is, one of the issues that I'm also very passionate about. This is a pressing issue. It not only just affects, a couple of people here and there, it actually affects all of us in like some way. Native Americans, they are, more likely to be a victim of gun violence than any other ethnicity. And, that's a harrowing statistic that no one's really aware of because, our population is so little. Being given the opportunity to be, featured in Teen Vogue, I got to speak with some pretty influential people. I got to speak with people that experienced gun violence firsthand. One, I talked to the sister of a Sandy Hook victim. I talked to someone who was there in Ferguson, and I talked to a parent of someone who was at Parkland, and also a student who was there as well. This is just something that I think that needs to be addressed, considering everything that's happening now. It's just such an important issue that needs to be talked about, and I guess that's pretty much it.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I think. Are we taking questions from the audience? Do you have any questions? Are there any cards for the champions? Do we have any questions from the audience? If you do, please, just bring them over here. Alrighty, guys. Well, if not, that's perfectly fine. And I just want to say thank you to the champions that are up here. It's really great to see 5 people from across Indian country working on the most important issues that affect tribal life, rural life, and native life in every day. Thank you so much for the work that you guys are doing, and I can't wait to work together. Oh, we have a question.
We have one.
So it says, how do you advise non-native allies to engage in this fight? How can we support you? I think that's for any of the
That's non-native allies. I don't really like the word ally. I like a community member. Bring humility to yourself and come into our communities. Stay a while. I think a big thing is knowing your role and responsibility and knowing how to hold yourself in indigenous communities and knowing the trauma that we've gone through. Even if we don't show it, the intergenerational trauma is within us. It's something that we may not like to talk about. We may never talk about it, but it's there. And it's knowing that we're succeeding. This is why we're all up here, is that we see Indian country succeeding. And we see the potential it has in the future. And that's why we're all doing our work. And that's why it's so influential to be here, is because I'm so excited to see what they do and what everyone does here, you know? And you look up to these, you know, new aspiring senators and representatives, and it's the most amazing thing you can see as a kid, to see someone just like you running over here, you know? So just know your role and responsibility and help us out and learn the language. And don't be afraid to ask questions. I think that's the biggest thing. Just thank you.
Thank you for that, Owen. Does anyone else want to add anything to it? It's totally okay if you don't. He said it pretty well. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Sure.
I was invited here, and I want to say I admire each and every one of you. You bring such a great heart to me. My name is Delight. Sorry for my tears, but you guys have come a long way, and I appreciate every one of your voices. You bring insight to me. I'm from Santa Fe. I'm a part of the JOM program, but I was one to come here, and I am so delighted to be a part of this and to hear each of you. I look forward to sharing what I experienced today with our children in Santa Fe. I wish you all well. God bless you.
So let's give these phenomenal Native youth one more round of applause. And thank you all. They really do deserve the world. And so hopefully CNAY and other champions can give them that. Real quick, we want to acknowledge CNAY staff. If you guys can stand up really quick, give a quick wave. So Nikki Petrie, the acting executive director. Dr. Billy Joe Kipp. We have Jen Peacock in the back. We have Chantal Asada right here in front. Jarrett Work, who is running around with his phone and camera to make sure everything was captured. We have Juan Martinez in the back. We have Angel Benally, somewhere here. And then we have Helen John. It is, you know, they are the people that, you know, make CNAY run. They are the people that are helping these youth throughout their week. It can be tiring for them, and so they are here for them every step of the way. They are a great resource for any of you that want to get in contact with Native youth or Native orgs across the country. You can always reach out to one of them, and they should be able to put you on the right path. We want to recognize some of our VIPs in the room. So Little Sal, congrats on the federal recognition. We have the National Congress of American Indian Youth Commission here. We have the Cheyenne River Youth Project. And then we have the George Washington University Native American Political Leadership Program as well. So once again, thank you all for joining us at this wonderful event. You can come to our reception tonight at the Capitol Hilton from 5 to 7 in Federal AB, and there is a flyer on your chair. Miigwech, thank you.
Special recognition to Chairman Gerald Gray. Before we conclude, the Kiowa Singers have asked to sing an honor song for our Native youth.
We are very honored for these very special individuals. You know, I was sitting there just listening to their commentaries, and when I was their age, I was nowhere near they are today. You know, I was just thinking that back to my high school education and experience, it's dramatically changed. They're activists. They're interested in humanity. Each one of the speakers presented themselves in such a way that made us all proud. And we're just so proud that of our Native youth, our grandchildren, coming behind us with good hopes, good energy, humility, and integrity. So we thank you for your leadership. We thank you for your endeavors and your accomplishments, and we wish you the best. We want to sing an honor song to honor you at this time. I hope. Yeah, we'd like to invite you to all come through the line, shake their hands, acknowledge them while we sing.